Thank you very much. So, so now that we'd like to start the panel sessions for discussing about the next phase cooperation for digital innovation with the healthier cyber ecosystems. And as MC introduced that, I'd like to introduce again that today we are very honored to invite Dr. Ono. He's a most famous doctor for digitalization in Indonesia, I think.
Most brutal.
And Dr. Ron Chang, that's our senior economist. He in charge of the digital studies, and Ms. ERIA, Cyber Green, she presented our research. So that, and today we also invited some keynote speakers from the government official from the Indonesian government, and then that we learned a lot that we have to many things to do for cybersecurity issues. But of course, that's we have very limited resources, and the schedule is very tight. But on the other hand, that was a very urgent issue so we have to do. So we need to prioritize our policy agendas. And then, so before that, we need to set what we are aiming, and it means that what is the goal for our new activities, or making a policy, or regulation, or developing infrastructure or human resources. So before starting the panel session, that I'd like to invite the Dr. Ono and Dr. Luron Chen that at the beginning, please make a short presentation if you have that. if you don't have, it's no problem.
Okay, very short. Thank you very much for having me, Bu Yuri, Pak Hajiama, yeah, Pak Lurong, and everybody. Thank you very much. This will be very short, and I will try to share to the main problem. To be honest, I'm very interested to explore the algorithm, the machine learning AI for your what's that cyber health, because this is very interesting, because many of us now moving towards machine learning and deep learning, but not cyber health. We are on cyber security, so like intrusion detection system. Okay, that's side note. Okay, now the problem. The problem here. So this is very quick problem. If we look at the cybersecurity, we have basically three major points: people, process, and technology. And the Indonesian, most government, they have money. So technology is fine. And then they normally hire consultant to run the install and run the technology. So if you audit the system, their system is good. And they spend a lot of money to build the system. So system is good. As we heard, Bu Nuni from BSSN, okay, we have a lot of regulation, policy, act, and everything. So from policy side, it's good. Procedure is good. And also, Pa Sony mentioned about digital talent, and Kominfo is working hard to build the people side. And Pak Sony mentioned the Indonesian needs 600,000 person. If you know the number of university graduate every year in Indonesia is 600,000. So that number is nearly impossible to reach. So our problem is in people side. Okay. Now in people side, normally I split the problem into three different type of people: the management or supervisor, the administrator or the admin, basically the geek, the network guy, and the users. Okay, I'll show you the problem here. Very simple problem. A very simple example. Just Google. Okay. This is a simple problem of the Indonesian attitude. The Indonesian, every Indonesian have the what's it? What is KTP in English? ID, citizen ID, something like that. We call it IKTP. IKTP. It's an ID card. Okay. Enter. Just Googling the ID and then click image, and then you will see a lot of Indonesian ID on the internet. Very secure, eh? So that's the attitude of the Indonesian. They are very, we are sharing, loving people. So we love to share our identity, our personal data. Okay, this is the ID, the citizen ID, and we have what is kartu keluarga. Keluarga. What is kartu keluarga in English? I don't know. This is what's in registration, but for family level. ID is for personal. This is family. Again, we actually sharing this thing. Okay, very, very good, eh? Very secure, very trusted. And then we have the armed forces. They have kartu anggota, member, anggota. This is member of armed forces. TNI is the National Armed Forces. The Indonesian National Armed Forces. If we enter and then we get a lot of the. So the problem is not the critical information, okay, and this is very dangerous. And sometimes people can use the open source intelligence software, and we can gather all this information for free. And this is open source on the internet. So we are this guy not violating any regulation, everything, and they get this problem. Okay, that's one problem from the user side. So I already covered the user side. Now the administration, the geek side, the administration side. Okay. I give away free courses for free. Oh yeah, free courses for free. Okay. So my university, we give away courses for free. Include, this is about internet safety, and this is the example for cybersecurity. Okay. Let me check how many people sign up for the courses. I think about 11,000 people. So still less than the one required by the Ministry of Information and Communication. So we have 11,000. Well, we are still waiting because the machine is so small, like only for core and 8 GB, because we provide the service for free, so we don't have any money. So we have 11,465 participants. We give away for free. And then everyone who get 90 from the course, they get certificate for free. Now I want to show you how many people get 90. Okay, you will be surprised. Can you guess how many? Any numbers? Out of 11,000, how many people get 90? 100? Okay. Out of 11,000. 100%. Oh, Japanese is very, very good people. But Cominfo still very optimistic. 100. He's optimistic. The real one is only 19. 19%. Out of 11,000, only 19%, 90 has more than 90. Okay, I don't know about your number in the digital talent program. So we are this kind of we are having this kind of problem. Because of this, I actually spent a couple of years in the I teaching the military guys on cybersecurity, and then number also the same. They have and everything about normally every year they have 120 graduate. And then one day, like a couple of years ago, the two-star general asked me, "Oh no, can you test this guy?" Okay, so I asked them to do the exam on my course. Out of 120, only 3% pass. And then later on, the two-star general replaced by another two-star general. This general, we are chatting. And then he complained, "Oh no, I have spent billion of rupiah for equipment. So we have very good equipment, billion of rupiah, nothing works." And then I just said very simple, "Well, sir, your stuff is dumb. You cannot pass my exam." And then the guy actually sitting beside me, one of them is me. So we are having this kind of problem. So if you evaluate from the talent technology side, from the policy side, maybe we are okay. But when we actually evaluate from the people side, then you actually look at the actual problem. Okay. So with that, I finish my share. So next is Josh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's very interesting. Okay. Next is Dr. Laurent.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ono. Actually, I'm here. I want to learn more from your experts. Thank you, everyone. It's my pleasure to join this panel discussion. I'm not a technical expert, so you can see that how nervous I feel when sitting between two leading experts on cybersecurity. But I can share some of my thoughts and based on my observation as an economics. First of all, I must say that I really like the choice of today's theme of discussion. It's about cyber ecosystem. So to my understanding, this is a very comprehensive concept that covers, but not limited to cyber attack, cyber crime, cyber security, cyber health, or even a cyber disaster management. So this is a very good topic. And here we are thinking through a health and resilience online ecosystems that will allow us to facilitate digital transformation and also support the development of an inclusive and substantive digital economy. So I'm as an economist, so very naturally we think about, we have either a revenue analysis or benefit analysis or cost analysis. And to see the vitality of this topic of cyber ecosystem, we can see some already known potential risk that may cause massive losses and burden to individuals, businesses, or even countries in case we don't have a safe and reliable online environment. The most intuitive one here is economic loss. As many of us already know, this will include the loss of money, loss of property, missing opportunities, lower productivity, or simply a waste of time, right? And so on and so on. For instance, I just read a policy brief prepared by one of our research associates, and there's a data impressed me that it said it was predicted that the economic loss caused by cyber crimes is increasing by 15% every year. And by 2025, this number could be over $10 billion 1 year. And this is a direct economic loss. So very impressive number here. And the social cost will be much, much higher, as most of us already realized. compared to economic loss, the damage to the society caused by cyber security and cyber health is hard to rectify. And in many cases, this could be even irreversible or permanent there. So that once you create a trouble, it's always there. And this is why today more and more people, government, are paying more attention to kind of cyberbullying or dissemination of false information and the spreading of fake news or even rumors online. So there's a social cost we need to consider. One more step, we think more about this kind of the laws related to this cybersecurity, cyber health, is that we can imagine that given the highly integrated of the internet in our modern life and daily activities, the lack of a safe and healthy online environment may lead to a very bad scenario, which I believe no one here would like to see, is that a security full of mistrust. This could, at the beginning, occur in the cyberspace, but it will not just stay there. Very quickly, this will spread to the real world. And once that happens, sooner or later, the mistrust will erode the relations among peoples, among business, and among countries. If this is not serious enough, let's think about the impacts on the growth of next generation. Digital and the internet have been part of young people's life since the early stage of their growth. One fact can make a big difference, how shape their the values and characteristics. So, but the point here is that digitalization is progressing so fast. People in my generation started surfing online on the internet since the 1990s, or some of us, just like Dr. Ono, maybe even earlier, right, started surfing on the internet. But now, when looking backward and comparing what we serve and how we are surfing on the internet today with that of 30 or 40 years ago, I have this feeling that at that time, so 30 or 40 years ago, we were more likely just playing on the beach side, or to help me in huge, not really serving on the internet. And of course, this pool can be so deep and so wide that we couldn't possibly find any comparable one in the real world. But still, there's a big pool that at least we can estimate its boundaries. And so when we think about how, to provide a safe and reliable environment, we can actually foresee most of the potential safety problem, and maybe set up the rules and set up the security measures to try to make sure it's safe. And just like this is something just like how we kind of improve the security in the public swimming pool. That's it's difficult, but sort of measurable. And today, internet is so kind of a integrated part of our life. Internet of Things, AI, big data, whatever. This made it, today we are really kind of exploring in the deep ocean of the internet. So in addition to safety rules and security measures, the roles of monitoring and the mechanism of emergency reaction become more and more important. I think this highlights the significant study on this cyber health. We need to monitor the situation. We need to accumulate the experience. And in this process, as Dr. Ono mentioned, is also a process of capacity building of human resource. So, and of course, this will require joint efforts from all participants, especially that of a public-private partnership and also international cooperation. We also think that internet is borderless by nature. And from a regional perspective, I think building a safe, reliable, and open online space must be one of the areas for ASEAN and East Asian countries to further enhance our regional collaboration. So I think that's my point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roro. And lastly, that ERIA already made a presentation, but today that there are many keynote speech or the explanation about the current situation with the Indonesia as well as ASEAN. So maybe I think that you have some impression. some other. So do you have anything to add for your presentation?
So a couple of comments or, maybe, comments to what Ono-san says and Luron-san mentioned. People's problem is big, isn't it? People's problem is really big. One of the very interesting project that we started is, we love public health model. So we look at the model is called health belief model. Have you ever heard it? Health belief model is a long-standing health belief, the model that they studied what type of factors make people's behavior change to becoming healthier. And there are 4 factors. So there are 4 cognitions of the people to actually changing the behavior to becoming healthier. So one of it is a risk awareness, right? So if people understand, oh my God, if I don't, if I'm sick, what's the right examples? Okay, so if there is a risk of, if you're smoking, you have a risk of lung cancer, right? This is a risk awareness. First of all, understanding the risk factors, people aware of the risk connecting to some problems, health problems. That's one cognition. The second thing is that happened to me? Am I a smoker? Or do I have that risk? And then if people properly understand, oh, this might happen to me because I am a chain smoker, I love smoking every day, then that's the second cognition. And then the third cognition happens, that is a mitigation benefit. So if I stop smoking, what health benefit do I have? That's the third cognition. Oh, I might have this much of decreasing risks to becoming a health problem. So that's a mitigation benefit. If I stop smoking, I can do this. I have a decreased risk, reduced risk of becoming cancer. The fourth cognition, people are thinking good side and bad side. So the fourth cognition is mitigation cost. What does it mean to me when I stop smoking? My life is going to be terrible, and then I have a stressful day, and then I have to go to bed with that very stressful. I really need to smoke. Well, that's a downside of it. And then people compare with that naturally. Can I stop smoking? And then there are a lot of things, other factors as well. Buying cigarette is very expensive these days. If you stop smoking, you have money for a gym membership, and then you go to a sports gym and start swimming, double good. So, there are a lot of factors. And that's, there are quite deep and long time study at the public health industry, spending how to encourage people to making healthier behavior by really understanding, is the people understanding risk? Is the people know what's the mitigation? Do the people having a right, decision, and this is good, this is beneficial, this is too much. And then analyzing, if we really want to make people healthier, we need to invest, okay, more awareness, or maybe more incentives. Well, let's make the cigarette more expensive. That's the policy makings and a community based on this type of study and real data. They are making those, type of things. Wearing masks as well. The COVID time, it was at the beginning very difficult to convince people to wearing masks, especially when I was in, States and looking at people not very used to wearing masks. But understanding the masks is not just, protecting you, but protecting families, societies, and this and that. The benefit, awareness of the risk, those are all, a contributing factor to convince people to gradually start wearing masks. So in a people's problem in cyber, I think we should take a look at the very scientific approach. How can we change the people's mindset to do some security measurement? It's just, they understand the risks. Are they understanding the mitigation? What to do? Do we have, like, knowing Japanese? I'm a Japanese, my language is Japanese, language. Knowing Indonesia have a diversity of local languages, and then the common language is not English. The technical documents are all in English, and it's a really challenging thing for us, for people non-English language people, to understand the process of the mitigation. What's the downsides? What's the benefit? And then all that thing. So it's not probably a people's problem. It is the system and a mechanism. We can do more to, help people to change that mindset. And I think a very interesting, we can do a very interesting case study here working with you, because you are the person who's making movements and then the people's problem. And we started really taking a look at this from a data and science. So, I would really like to work with you on that with the ERIA support. The second thing also about the Ludon-san's point about distrust to the mitigation and distrust to the digital environment. I think it is really a terrible, thing that we're actually seeing it. If we do not managing a digital environment properly, this is really a cost that people start distrusting the environment. Also, because there are not a very good, data to analyze the impact analysis or efficiency analysis of the mitigation, it is really a time in the medieval time of the medicine, people selling snake oil without, telling people believing that this is an aspirin, but, inside it's really, a crazy thing. The mitigation or medicine, if you do not have the massive scale right data, you don't really know if this mitigation is really working. So this type of scientific driven, data driven mitigation efficiency analysis is really important, because we are losing people's distrust about the mitigation. People gradually thinking, even though there are a list of things that you need to do, passwords, this and that and that, I don't know. There are a lot of people believing that it makes change. And then that's really bad. We, as in security experts, really telling, analyzing and telling people, because we are asking a lot of things for the users. It is a problem that people seeing those list of security measures that they need to do and not believing that it makes any change. So there are a lot of things we need to do to address that. So that's two quick comments back to back to the two.
Yeah, thank you very much. So,
thanks.
yeah, actually, that's people's awareness is a very key, and that for this, that analyze well about the cause and effect. What is more important, and share the this information to the all peoples, and in ASEAN, of course, that's Indonesia also. That's another problem is that development gap between, for example, that rural area and urban area, or the advanced country or country, or the gender, or many things that we have to consider well. So then that's but for cybersecurity, that small risk will make a big risk. And then that's it means that a small vulnerability make a big risk for the damage or the economic impact, as Dr. Ru mentioned that. So that's also we need to consider that how to set the standard or average measure for the cybersecurity, for set to the advanced high level people, or the set to the goal for the like a rural areas or developed. That's what also we need to consider.
Right, right. That's
So,
true.
yes. So do you have? Well, I know that Dr. Ono-san is very focusing on the rural areas development. So, do you have any opinion for the?
Okay, this is nothing to do a little bit about cybersecurity, but this is about our problem in rural areas. Many schools wants to have access to knowledge. During the COVID time, school in Eastern Indonesia, they have no cellular signal. So when in COVID time, we are having problem because some of students have to learn on top of the trees, because that's the way they get the signals. They cannot learn from the schools. And then the other day, I have an idea. How about I copy the internet to a local server and place the server at schools? Okay, and I'm still positive thinking, and then I go to several schools and I teach them how to build a local server at their school. And that takes 3 days and it doesn't work. Okay, but the teachers is very happy. The comment is very simple comment. Okay, I love this solution because the internet becoming local at school and the student cannot see any pornographic pictures. The student cannot play slot. I don't know. Can you translate slot in English? Gambling. So this is like high schools, secondary high school. So they love internet because of the gambling and pornographic. Having no internet in rural, they are very happy actually. But the problem with no internet, they cannot access the knowledge. So I have to do that kind of solution So my solution later on, my solution is because when I teach them how to build the server, fail. So I make the server on flash disk. So within the flash disk, it has the operating system, the web server, the e-learning, the wiki, the electronic library, everything in flash disk. Plug the flash disk. They have computers, but they have no hard disk in the computer because the electricity in the rural area is so fluctuate. Sometimes and plug and it's run. And now our solution is copy the flash disk. So basically the solution is no internet. It's very safe. Sorry. So I call it internet offline. So from the security point of view, very secure. So we sorry, extreme, very extreme.
No, I think based on the needs and demands in the countries, the development speed and development, pace should be different. It's, it could be there might be an opinions of the internet, offline internet. I'm gonna have to tell this story to Jun Murai. He's gonna probably rush next month. To me, again, I really like the public health analogy here. Even though there is a lot of people's interaction in a rural area, they need to be aware of what's going on with the COVID, and then they need to be ready for out every layers get prepared and becoming more resilient. I think, even though it is rural, when you bring in the development, I think it is very important. Once it's connected, it's the same risks and same, connected ocean out there, and it's a part of it. It's a part of it. So everyone, I think the security practices and then the security hygiene is one of the very, very important. We heard from Mr. Soni that there are a lot of technology, engineering education for people, for students, for ethical and online ethical and, this and that. I think the cyber hygiene is how to treat your devices, the minimum hygiene things that, you have to do is really important, because to be honest, your device and awareness is some of that running and operating managed digital environment with the global scale is the only way to raise the global ecosystem, global cyber ecosystems resiliency.
I just add from my experience when I do the awareness on cybersecurity, yes, risk. When we introduce risk, when we telling people about the risk, then people mindset will change. The way I telling people about the risk is when I give the presentation in webinar, the way I telling people about the risk, I actually show them how to hack. So I basically, so, okay, this is how we actually hack you. And this is how we actually stealing your money. Live, demo. Then I telling the story. This guy in Indonesia, my teacher, professor, he lost 200 million rupiah. How much in US dollar?
But do they know, do they have to learn how to hack to learn that?
No, not learn, a show.
You show it,
Show
that's
the-
better. Oh, good.
So yeah, I show, and then they said, "Oh, okay. So this is how actually people attack us after they are knowing how
Sure.
attack.
So it's
then-
like inoculation,
then
like, you know.
yeah,
Okay.
they understand the risk, then they
Mhm.
change their mindset.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's, you know,
That's brutal, but if I said to them, okay, you have to protect your password with this procedure, it lost. When I show them how we attack them, then it remains.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. That's that's the most understanding well.
So that's why my video always delete from YouTube. YouTube always delete my video. I upload video to YouTube and then they normally delete my video.
Yeah.
Just something to complement, and here I learned from Yuri and also Ono some talking about the human resource. Actually, here we are emphasize two kind of. One is the public users to improve the awareness, so you know the potential danger. Dr. Ono was talk more about the expert. It's just like in a swimming pool. We go swimming there. To be able to swim there, we need to awareness potential dangers. As a swimmer, I know which area I should not go, which action I should not do, or which behaviors I may damage other people. So this as a users. Then there are other group of human resources, just like those safeguard people who monitor, who kind of oversee. And in case of a emergency, how to rescue, how to solve the troubles here. And here I want to highlight that there's a third player that is actually the government. We need to have a rules and regulation to discourage misbehavior, right? In addition to technology, essential to people's awareness, you need to find a way to punish or stop those big behavior. Because for most people, as Yuri said, that no matter how we learned, there's always risk and danger there. And we are count on the engineer to solve the problem. But engineer, no matter how hard they work, their number is limited. Their knowledge needs to be renewed. So more fundamental solutions, we need to have a legal system, just like the way the best public goods we create to protect our society. I think this the third players here. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that's so that's why that's our research for the cybersecurity, cybercrimes research will provide the more information what we have to learn or analyze and understand the risk as well. Yes. So anyway, that's I'm sorry that there are not so much time remain. So that I'd like to open the floor for the Q&A. So if you have any comments or question, please raise your hand and identify yourself and question to whom.
Including from Zoom?
Or also at first that
local.
here first. Any question?
Yeah.
If not,
If you like more story, I have a lot more. Horror story.
or how about online? Online is there a question?
Ms. Nunil, are you still with us? Oh, unfortunately, she's not. She left the room already. Okay. Do you have any questions to the panel?
My question is
sorry.
more on the regulatory side, so I don't know. Pak Sony kan. So, Pak, I'm Tiola from, I'm a researcher at the Center for Indonesian Policy Studies. My question is on the regulation related to cybersecurity, because as of now, we don't have a specific dedicated law for cybersecurity, and the regulation is kind of spread out in a few law about cyberspace. So is it necessary to create a dedicated law for cybersecurity? I know there was an attempt in 2019, but it was not successful. So would there be another attempt to pass law dedicated for cybersecurity, or do you think it's sufficient to just basically rely on several laws on cyberspace? Thank you. Or maybe, yeah, other can add.
This is probably that don't represent my ministry. Uh, I think the what Indonesia trying to do right now is to boost innovation through the ITE law. Right? The Incominfo in our ministry, there's two main law. The first one is telecommunication law. And then the second one is all about internet, ETA, electronic transaction law. For the telecommunications law, nobody can run the telecommunication except the one that have the permit. But in electronic transaction, everybody can do innovation in internet except the forbidden one. So it's the purpose is to boost innovation, because if we regulate something too much, the innovation will not came. Regulation is what you call always too late. Ya Pak, apa? Yeah. Innovation is more faster than the regulation. That's why a lot of regulation need to catch up with the innovation. That's why we need in my sector startup, we call it for startup is much creative, right? We see like a fintech, all the startup must creative but compliance with the core regulation. For the example like fintech, the core regulation is in OJK. The Kominfo is basically regulate the transaction do's and don'ts, something like that, to more on protecting the customer in Kominfo side. We see that innovation is to disrupt status quo, but also potential to break the rules. That's why we have what we call sandbox, ya Pak, sandbox or safe harbor policy. Not only not to early regulate, but to see them what they are heading. Probably like example like this. When the user is only 100, why you have to regulate that? But if the user pass more than 1 million people, now that you should regulate. That's why we think that from our perspective to boost innovation, I think the internet transaction law is more than enough for now. And the main important is how to impose the aturan turunannya, the other regulation like government regulation or the ministerial level to impose that. because for the undang-undang is kadang nggak implementable juga. We see that ITE lebih terkenal, more famous because of the political side, not for the technical side. That's why I think we need to make a more applicable law rather than too much ngatur, too much ada yang baru terus diatur, ada yang baru diatur. Sebenarnya kalau for the yang sekarang undang-undang ITE udah mencakup semua yang ada di transaksi di internet.
Yeah.
Itu my point. Silakan
If
guru
I,
saya.
if I may add something about this. So yes, I agree with that. So the major problem is to make the regulation becoming implementable. Just simple example. The other day, the ICT ICT division of the West Java government, they asked me to give a webinar about electronic transaction, okay, about the implementation of electronic transaction in the civil servant in West Java. This is civil servant, okay? So this is electronic transaction. The major problem of the electronic transaction is they have to digitally sign any transaction, right? And then in digital sign, you need to have digital certificate authority and everything. And that's complicated. So my presentation is very simple. We use Zoom and I open Word and I talk to these guys. Okay, I'm writing a letter to your governor. Okay, dear Ridwan Kamil is the governor. Dear sir, I would like to do such and such and such and such, and I scan my signature and I put it in the document. And I ask the audience, is my document legal or illegal? Surprise, surprise, everybody said legal. Very good, eh? Very good. It's illegal. According to Electronic Transaction Act, it's illegal. So digital signature is not your signature scan, not your scan signature. No, it's not that, right? But the civil servant don't know about this. We have an act, but they don't know about implementation. And then before I do the speech, from people from BSSN give a speech about the digital signature. So they already gave a speech about the digital signature, and they said, okay, if you see a document with QR code, it's digital signature. And then the same document, I said, okay, according to BSSN, it must be a QR code. So I Googling QR code. And I download the QR code and put it in the document. And I ask in the Zoom, is my document legal or illegal? Legal again, man. Very clever. Okay. So the reality is that, yes, we have act, we have policy, we have regulation. Yes, we implement the system. So the digital signature system is implemented in the government, okay? But they don't understand what the digital signature. And then the more scarier is the wife of my son. She works with the legislation office, the local, not the national, the province legislation office. And then she showed me the letters. And in the letter, it mentioned, this letter has been digitally signed. So there is no need of any signature. Only that writings, this letter is, where is the digital signature? That's it. It says it's digitally signed. It's written digitally signed. No. Where is the QR code? No, there is no QR code. You only type that. That's it. Very legal, eh? So that's the reality. Very fun. So if your metrics evaluate the procedure, yes, we have procedure. If you evaluate the technology, yes, we have procedure. If you evaluate the people, then you see the real pictures.
Yeah.
You- maybe one of the things that we are, we can all work and improve together is, just as you said, when you say something, this is good security practice, this and that, let's start measuring it. Let's have a baseline. What is really happening? And then track that. And then, do all that awareness raising or, all that activities, track the improvement.
Yes,
That's.
it will be fun.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have one more
Oh,
time for one more
Oh,
question?
yeah, we got one more question.
Okay, we have
Yeah.
one more questions.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Naval. I'm definitely not an expert or dabble in technical matters of IT, but I work in a comms agency and just want to touch on the topic of behavioral change, especially on a personal and populational cyber hygiene change. I think as a start, we can give credits to the government of Indonesia. I think Kominfo has a digital literacy survey that was started from 2021 ya Pak Sony, and 2022 it's also available, and then we can access it online. But it's more general, as in to understand the Indonesian citizens' capability to use the internet. And one of the pillars is to know their understanding of digital safety. But if we check in the report directly, I think the question asked is a bit still a bit too general. It doesn't ask specific questions of what's your understanding of perhaps 2FA, multiple two-factor authentication, or should you change your password every 6 months or so? Those are the kind of but Pak Arno, you do agree, right? Those are the kind of understanding that us have to have to maintain our cyber hygiene on a better level. So the question perhaps could be discussed: should governments all around be more, I guess, enforcing, perhaps even adding a legal basis to conduct a more routine surveys on their population's cyber hygiene, more specific than digital literacy survey, and perhaps maybe Miss Yuri, you can explain more if Cyber Green has one of the reports that shows on behavioral change on personal digital security. I think, yeah, that's my question. Thank you so much.
So giving a little time, I'm gonna, so one thing about the users' awareness level, it's not just Indonesia, but in every country, it's very difficult for any users to protect themselves in this cyberspace at the moment. A lot of people do not know what to do at the very normal user level. My family, my grandmother, it's impossible for them to, ask them to, do cyber defense. So one of the interesting strategic strategy change in US that I saw is, I think it was 3 weeks ago, there was a executive order the new Biden administration cybersecurity strategy was released. And then one of the big change was shifting the users, protecting users' responsibility is not the user's responsibility. It's the service provider's responsibility. It is shifting that responsibility to the service provider does and the vendors. So I think that's one big factor change. And then I think it's a very positively taking, and then we'll of course have to see, like everything, you need to do every layers of approaches. Users needs to understand a little bit more about the risks, and then what they can do, and then should do at probably like a school educations or, but at the same time, it's not just them, the service providers, and then the, technology, industry needs to work more to provide more resilient and safer, services. And having that statement in that strategy document was, I think it was huge. And yes, yeah, very, very good direction.
Users,
Mm,
responsible of the user. Nothing to do with the provider.
Yeah, that's
Our
that's
faith
very
depend on
true.
ours.
I'm happy to share that.
We need to learn about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy to, yeah, I'll share the document.
Hopefully will be updated by coming.
And also I'm happy to share the cyber belief model, which is actually applying that health belief model to the cyber's behavior, and then what kind of factors influencing users' behavior, and then how we can change that more efficiently. So I'm happy to have, there's a technical paper on that, so I'll share with you and let's talk about it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Since we are running out of time, we'd
yeah.
like to invite
Yeah.
Mr. Tachiyama to
Okay,
give the
okay.
closing remarks.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. So that I'm sorry that my poor timekeeping, so all time has passed. But I'd like to conclude that this panel session. So that's a very exciting panel session. I think that's so. Lastly, that's let's give them a big hand to the all panel.
Okay, before we end the event today, we'd like to invite also Pasoni to the front, and we will have a photo session before we end. We are waiting for the camera. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. As we have come to the end of the event, we would like to convey our deepest gratitude to everyone participating both online and offline. So on behalf of the organization team, we would like to thank all of you for coming. And yeah, have a great day and thank you very much.